In today's video, we're going to check out which is the best response code to use when you're redirecting traffic to another page on your Joomla site based on the IP location of your visitor. Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to Watch Me Work live stream number 129 here on the Basic Joomla Tutorials YouTube channel, where I show you my favorite extensions, tools, and tips for building and maintaining Joomla sites. All right, so a couple weeks ago we were looking at an extension from JDev, from Roland over at JDev, that would redirect your visitors depending on their IP location. And we saw that that IP location in that extension was limited to country, but in talking with him and telling him some needs that a client of mine has, he's actually updated it so that it will also pick up the province, that province or state or prefecture that that the visitor is in. So to do that, to set that up, we need to send a code to the browser of the person who is visiting and tell them just what's happening on the redirect. And I have to decide what to do that. So today we're going to check that out. So let's turn our attention to the screen. Hello, Bjorn and Hobby, who are in chat already. Okay, let's turn attention over to the screen there. Oh, today's video is brought to you by mysites.guru. Head on over to mysites.guru, get a free site audit for your Joomla site. And while you're there, check out all the tools and information that will save you time and money, because time is money, managing one or multiple Joomla sites. And if you decide to subscribe, use the coupon code Basic Joomla, and you'll get your first month free. Okay, so let's head back over here to the. This is sort of what it's looking like a bit after last week's after last week's tutorial, where we were a video where we were looking at my strategy for Open Graph images. So check that out. Also, just to follow up from last week, something related to our topic today. Remember how last week when, just let me log in the front end of the site. Remember how when we were using for SEO, now let's see, that's down here in the bottom right hand corner. Let's just grab this, put it up here. All right. We could not get the starting point page for SEO to see it. Now it sees it because I made some changes, and also I got some help from Unique Gauthier, who has developed for SEO. But what was happening was, remember a couple weeks before, we had starting point direct that link directing to somewhere else, and because my server is in the USA, the IP that 4SEO was using to scan the site was the IP in the US, and that would make it redirect to the USA, and the redirect code that it was sending was telling 4SEO, was confusing it, and that's why it never saw it. So he figured that out, and that's something to think about and be keeping track of. All right, so for an overview of that extension, when we go to menus, here's the JDev extension site right here, and their products, and we are looking at UserGo IP location item redirect. All right, this one right here. I'll put these links in the video description below, but anyways, I'll also put that in chat there as well. Now, what this extension does, as you'll remember, in menu, and let's go to main menu, and let's go to a menu item. We'll do starting point. This extension adds a tab, IP location menu redirect, where you can set up conditions upon which things will be redirected. And so I had some of you log in. Bjorn did Norway, Chuck did United States. I threw one in there for Switzerland. And basically what you do is you will say any countries that are from Norway, redirect them to this menu item, right? And then move them permanent. Then you send a redirect code. Now, it's these redirect codes that we're going to look at today to see which are the best ones. Not only, I guess, what different ones do, especially I'm thinking about in this context of what I'm doing. Excuse me while I take a drink. What is the best redirect code to use in a situation? Now let me show you the context of where I want to use this plugin. So if we go to the smartdrivetest.com site, all right, and I need to log in. Okay, I'll just do that off screen here. And now, right now, oops, reload pages. Okay. He's getting saying that cookies are not, session expired or cookies not enabled in your browser. Oh my goodness. All right, let me try one more thing here. Let me try Chrome here. Something's not working for me to log into that site. And that was not something I thought I had to test. Okay, let's log in over here on the other screen. Oh my goodness, it's not working. All right, well, 500 error on that site. Huh. Interesting. All right, well, I'll have to fix that after I get off of the live stream. The site itself is working. It's just when you're logged into the front end. All right. Scratch that. Here, I will just open up Notepad here, and I will give you an illustration of what it is I'm trying to do. No, we're not going to update that. Okay, so on my friend's Smart Drive Test site, he has a test, a quiz, a quiz where people can take a driver's quiz, and there is a generic site. Let's do this. Let's do this here. There is a generic page which he goes to. Generic page, but then he also is going to have pages based on different states. So if we do this, perhaps there will be someone in California, and then there'll be someone in, let's say, Texas, and let's do one more for Florida, because there's a lot of people there. And what will happen is when someone goes to the site and clicks the link for the generic, clicks the link to go to the generic page, that link is going to have rules in it, and basically if the person is using an IP from California, redirect them to California, or if it's Texas, redirect them to Texas, or if it's Florida, redirect them to Florida. And we'll have a whole bunch of rules. Hobby Teresa says he prefers Texas. Yeah, Hobby Teresa wants to be extricated from Poland, apparently. He was messaging on the channel the other day, so if anyone can help him with that, go for it. And we better put the L in Florida there. So what we're talking about today is what is the redirect code response that we should send to the browser when someone comes and clicks on this link, but they're from California. Because that will have an impact on spidering the page as well, if depending on where a spider comes from, like if Google is crawling the site. All right, now that means over here on the other screen here, I just need to bring up a page that I had. Where was it? Find out where that was. Yes, okay. Let's start out with this document here. So, as you'll see, when you do the redirect, you have to give it the type of redirect, and we can read a tooltip right here. We're going to do a bit of reading today, as I've read through some of this a number of times, and you're going to help me figure it out. All right. So the URL redirection, also known as URL forwarding, is a technique to give a page, a form, or a whole web application more than one URL address. HTTP provides a special kind of response called HTTP redirect to perform this operation, and it's used for numerous goals. Temporary redirection while site maintenance is ongoing. Permanent redirection to keep external links working after a change of the site's architecture. Progress pages when uploading a file, and so on. And here's the source that we can read there. So we mouse over that. Let's do that. Let's go. Oops. Okay, well, can't really... I can't click on that link, but we have got it right here. Now, so here's some redirects that we can read about. What is important to me right now is that I want to be redirecting people to the particular page that they're from, but spiders, I want them to also spider the generic page or crawl the generic page. I can put the links to the California, Texas, and Florida pages in a sitemap, and they will get scanned that way. But I also want the generic broad page to show up as well. And if I have it set up, if I have the generic test set up to redirect always, it will redirect based on the IP of the spider of the what is spidering the page. So let's take a look at some of our options here. We basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. I probably will not remember that. You maybe remember a couple of weeks ago, 300 multiple choice was in there, and Roland told me that he removed that. And so our first one is 301. Now, if we do this redirect based on moved permanently, the URL of the requested resource, we're basically saying the URL has been changed permanently, and update your response to that. Okay, update your records. This page is now this. Go ahead and change that. Bjorn says subcategories with pages according could fix this. You mean having all the tests on one page, Bjorn? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So in this case, I don't want to use the 301 because I'm not permanently redirecting this address. I want people to find this main page. All right. Then I can, so I don't want a permanent redirect. That is great for htaccess rules though, because if you change the URLs on your site and you want to redirect and say, hey, this is a permanent change, 301 is your best friend. 302, this response code means that the URI of the requested source is being changed temporarily. Further changes in the URI might be made in the future. Therefore, this same URI should be used by the client in future requests. Now, by the client is really important because remember last week we saw that there's some caching issues. No, 2 weeks ago there's some caching issues that when I changed that link or we added things to test, my browser kept using the first redirect that was successful. Basically, if I had picked 302, then what it would have done was said to my browser, the client, would have said, all right, we're going to send you to a new URL right now, but that's just temporary. You keep using this URL the next time you're back here. And then that would not become stuck in the browser. All right. So 302 is my first suspect that I want to use when creating the redirects for my friend's site. All right, 303, see other. The server sent this response to direct the client to get the requested resource at another URI with a GET request. Now, if I remember correctly, this one, when I was looking it up, is basically... no, I don't remember it correctly. Bjorn says the generic page as a main category states as a subcategory. Yes, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure how. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see. I see what you're saying. If the main test appears on a category page as well as its own, it would still get picked up, being displayed. Yeah, that would work. If the redirect is on the main test, though, it's always going to be a redirect there. So, a generic page is a main category. The other thing that we could do is just create, excuse me, although we really want to direct people to the state or province for their tests because they're individual tests. So, interesting. Let's just see. Why don't we look at something? Let's see, 303 code, 303 response code. Let's get some more words for that one. W3. Let's see what this one says here. W3.org. And we'll go F3 and we'll go 303. See other. Okay, the response to the request can be found under different URI and should be retrieved using a get method on that resource. This method exists primarily to allow the output of a post-activated script to redirect the user agent to a selected resource. The new URI is not a substitute reference for the originally requested resource. The 303 response must not be cached, but the response to the second redirected request might be cacheable. The different URI should be given by the location field in response. Unless the requested method was head, the entity of the response should contain a short hypertext note with the, okay, so I think what gets me here is what's the other resource that should be gotten with a get. Is that would that be for a download possibly when they see that? I'm not sure. The response to the request can be found under a different URI and should be retrieved using a get method. This method exists primarily to allow output of a post-activated script to redirect the user agent to a selected resource. So this is so that someone can, so a script can be used when someone clicks on that link, if I understand correctly. Someone clicks on that and a script takes them somewhere. Okay, as opposed to just being a hot link. All right, that sort of works with me. Of course, this is watch me work. So if anybody has any ideas, or you're saying no, that's not what it is, and you can type what it is in chat or in the comments below if you're not watching on the live stream. If you're watching the replay. Oh, by the way, if you don't mind giving the video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. That will help people find it. Okay, so that's the 303. So let's go back to here. And let's look at 304. Says not modified. This is for caching purposes. It tells the client that the response is not being modified. So the client can continue to use the same cache version of the response. All right. Now, is that one of our options here? I told you I wouldn't remember them all. 304. All right. So this is used for caching purposes. It tells the client, you or your web browser, that the response is not being modified. So the client can continue to use the same cached version of the response. Oh, okay. So if you've already been that page, they can use the same cached version of the response. I don't want to mess around with caching, and so that's probably not the one. Let's just read on here. If the client has performed a conditional GET request and access is allowed, but the document is not being modified, the server should respond with this status code. The 304 response must not contain a message body and thus is always terminated by the first empty line after the header fields. The response must include the following header fields: date, unless its omission is required. If a clockless origin server obeys these rules, the proxies and clients add their own date to any response received, which caches will operate correctly. If the conditional GET uses a strong cache validator, the response should not include empty. Okay, so this is beyond the scope of what I'm going to be doing. If a 304 response indicates an entity not currently cached, then the cache must disregard the response and repeat the request without the conditional. If a cache uses a receive 304 response to update a cache entry, the cache must update the entry to reflect any new field values. All right. No, I'm not really clear on that one. This is used for caching purposes. It tells the client that the response is not being modified. All right. So you would get a redirect. See, the other thing too about caching on in this particular case is because we are targeting people in a particular state or province, it doesn't really matter if they cache this response, because we're always going to want them to go back to that California page. Even if they go back to the website and log in and say, hey, I want to take this test or go to this test again, and it's going to redirect them. And that's okay if it's cached. So in this instance, I'm not too worried about caching. I guess I shouldn't be. Although I still like this 302 is good. Yeah, because the 304s maybe, how's that going to mess with the site being crawled? That's another consideration. That's after, okay, so we have 7 and 8. 7 and 8. Was there even a 5? No, we skipped 5. Okay, 7 and 8. Temporary redirect. The server sends this response to direct the client to get the requested resource at another URI with the same method that was used in the prior request. This has the same semantics as the 302 found, with the exception that the user agent must not change the HTTP method used. If a post was used in the first request, a post must be used in the second request. Okay, so I like this one for what I'm doing, because it sends a response and says, get the request at the other URI, but this is just temporary, and which is great. So I could have the main page spidered, and it would keep track of, would it? Yeah, so it's not, if I get the main page spidered, it's going to, a crawler would see, oh, this is temporarily moved, but we will leave this page in there, leave the information that we've got there, and we'll just redirect this. And I don't even know if a web crawler will change a 307. That's a good question. Let's see. Does Googlebot, how does Googlebot handle 307 response code? That would be good to know. Let's see. How does Googlebot interact with 307s? And a redirect can be used to force browsers to visit the HTTPS version of a page. These types of directs can be useful in cases where someone links to an HTTP URL instead of an HTTPS. When the link is clicked on, the 307 redirect will ensure the visitor lands on the HTTPS. That's what happens when browsers interact with 307s. What happens when Googlebot does? In short, Googlebot doesn't interact with them. 307 redirects are generally not real redirects. So what does it mean? When you make a site HTTPS, you can optionally use HSTS. I have no idea what that is. Tells HSTS. HSTS tells users to only get the HTTPS version of a page. So when a user enters a URL or clicks on a link that would otherwise go to HTTP, the browser remembers HSTS and goes directly to the HTTPS version. If a site owner uses if a site owner uses the URL inspection tool on page with HSTS, they will see that it has a 307 redirect in place. However, Mueller emphasizes HST acts like a redirect but isn't a true redirect. It's not a true redirect, as only browsers are capable of seeing a 307. It doesn't mean anything to Googlebot. When Googlebot crawls an HTTP page, it will not redirect to the HTTPS, and that's fine. Of course, that's only fine if the HTTPS URLs are indexed and crawlable. HSTSs are not a tool for getting links discovered. If you're migrating to, okay, this has a lot to do with, yeah, Bjorn says, okay, so Bjorn says 307 makes sense to my example. Yes, I think so. Ivor says HSTS is strict transport security. Hello, Ivor. HSTS is an optional tool that is used in conjunction with the true redirect. Handling redirects. We could watch that later. I'm just going to I'll post this link here in chat. So yeah, this makes me wonder about how to use HSTS on my website. Let's go with Joomla HSTS. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, and I actually have a video on it. Womp womp. That's okay. So that's something that's done in the HT Access. Look at that. This is not the first time I've searched for something. It may be one of the first times I searched for something, and I was surprised that I came up in an answer. So there's something. And look, 3 key moments in this video. What are they? Add a header, schedule, email forwarders. Interesting. I did not put those in there either. Add a header, schedule. Alexandra, good to see you. And hello, Mary. All right. So skipping back to this. Now back to that question. How does a 307 affect Googlebots? How does Googlebot handle 307? Are 307 redirects bad for SEO? Let's see what this person says. What is 307 redirect? Temporary. If SEO is a high priority, choose 301 redirects. No, this is not what we're talking about, because that's permanent. And we're not talking about permanent. Okay, if accurate click tracking is more important than SEO, you expect to change your URL periodically, then 307 temporary redirects. Okay, that's not the answer. Okay, this would be interesting to know. Let's see. 307 temporary redirect. What is it? How to fix it? How does Googlebot handle crawling? Let's put another word in there. And there's something from July the 12th. HTTPS. Okay, this page describes how HTTPS status codes, network errors, and DNS errors affect Google search. So we're looking for 307. So let's go 307. Says it's an equivalent to a 302 temporary redirect. Hobby says he has a website with many language versions, would like to buy this extension and redirect users to language version of choice, but I'm not sure if it is okay for SEO. That's sort of what we're looking at here right now. And Bjorn has a video there. Okay, so first of all, let's follow this up here. Googlebot follows up to 10 redirect hops. If the crawler doesn't receive content within 10 hops, Search Console will show a redirect error in the site's coverage report. Okay, the number of hops Googlebot follows is user agent dependent. For example, Googlebot smartphone may have a different value than Googlebot image. That's the only one that's 307. While Google search treats these status codes the same way, keep in mind that they're semantically different. Use the status code that's appropriate for the redirect so other clients, for example, e-reader search engines, may benefit from it. Yeah, let's see here. So I'm going to guess that I think that 307 is probably the sweet spot right here. Let's see. The server sends this response to direct the client to get the requested resource at another URI. It's the same method that was used in the prior request. This has the same semantics as the 302 found response. Okay, it's the same, with the exception that the user agent must not change the HTTP method used. So we're not worried about that. If a post was oh, if a post was used, the first request post is that. Okay. I'm still not sure. Sorry, let's go back to this search here. Search engine land. Maybe they will tell us. F3, 307. Okay. 307. The 307 HTTP status code is a bit of a false flag. We see it from time to time on websites that are served over HTTPS and are on the HST preload list. Basically what happens with 307 is the browser recognizes a request made to HTTP should instead be HTTPS, and we'll go straight there. So it's not really an HTTP response code. The website server never sees the original request. The browser implements this redirect itself as it knows due to HST preload list that the URL in the question is served over HTTPS rather than HTTPS. Google, PayPal, Twitter, Stripe, Dropbox, Facebook, LastPass are a few of the well-known sites on the preload HSTS list. See, they're only seeing this 307 in relation to HTTPS. All right, here's the 302. In the short term, this means search engines will keep the original URL in their index while users are sent to the redirect's target URL. In long term, however, Google interprets the 302 redirect as a permanent 301 redirect and will start to handle it accordingly. Oh. That's interesting. They've got another link here. Let's check that out. Is a 301 or a 302 redirect best for SEO? 301 redirects. Answer is, should I use a 301 redirect when I want to permanently move content? Yes, we know that. Yep. Let's go down here to 302. Oh. 2016. All 300 level server-side redirects pass PageRank, regardless of whether it's 301, 302, or 307, or something else. Go with the like as far as redirects go. You don't need to be concerned about redirects anymore. If you follow Gary's advice, use the redirect you think is most important in the situation. You probably won't have many indexing issues with Google. Alex says I'm always saying I'm a dumb guy. He doesn't believe me. Yeah. I don't think I'm dumb. But when it comes to donuts, you got to know whether you're the donut or you're the hole. Each has a place. All right, so still not sure. Let's check out Bjorn's video here, which is going to I have to do a funny thing here. Back. What's this video here? Who is this? Okay, I'm going to mute. Okay, let's see this here.
Today's question is from Lee McCoy. Lee asks, how does Googlebot interact with HSTS 307s? Cool. Well, in short, it doesn't interact with them. 307 redirects are generally not real redirects. So what does that mean? Well, when you make a site HTTPS, you can optionally use HSTS. HSTS tells users to only get the HTTPS version of a page. So when a user enters a URL or clicks on a link that would otherwise go to HTTP, the browser remembers the HSTS and goes directly to the HTTPS version. To make it clear what's happening, it acts like there was a redirect. Chrome calls this a 307 redirect. So if you use Chrome and you see a 307 result code with a tool, it's not really there. When it comes to Googlebot, we try to crawl URLs with a fresh slate. So we wouldn't keep the HSTS lists, and rather just directly access the HTTP URL directly. If that URL redirects, which is usually the case with an HTTP and HTTPS site, we would follow that. So in short, Googlebot doesn't see the 307 that you'd see in a browser, and that's fine. I hope I got all the HTTPS and HSTSs right, and I'll see you in the next episode. Which is usually the case with an HTTP. I hope I've got all the HTTP.
Okay, so, but it said that it did follow. It would follow the page that was served up. So, yeah. That's probably not... I don't want it to follow. That's the thing. I want to see a page. And, well, maybe we should see, is there a video on handling 302 redirects? Let's see. Do they have... I don't want to get watching other people's videos because then they get matched and it displeases people. Alright, so alright, well, let's check out this last one with 308. Permanent redirect. This means the resource is now permanently located in another URI. So of course I do not want to do that. So it looks like it comes down to whether I want to redirect based on the 302 or 307. And we saw that eventually Google, that one spot someone said Google eventually will, if a 302 persists long enough, they'll treat it as a permanent redirect. Hey Vinny, no, I've not done a 302 video. In fact, I guess I could do everything from 301 down to 307 and leave out 5 probably, because it's not used anymore. There's of making videos, there is no end of possibility. So if I I guess since we did read that a 302 will eventually be treated as a 301, I guess 307 is the way to go with that one. And that's just with people being Google that. Now, I guess so. Here's the other deal too. A workaround this would be. Let me change the screen here. Would be all right. So we have. Oh, I changed it probably too soon. Let's do this. So we've got the page here. Someone goes to the driver's quiz, and then they have the generic page. The generic page, I want that to be spidered just as a generic page, but I guess I could also make a separate document and describing the generic course. I could do all of the SEO for that. I could have it all and encourage people to click to go ahead and take the test, and I could provide a link to that. That will still do redirecting, but the nice thing is this page right here, Google would see it on its own page and its own description. And then all we're doing is for someone that just finds it generically through Google, if the generic page is not going to show up, but someone who just finds it randomly through Google, they'll go to the main page and that will still have the information, and then they will click through on that. Can I check into Google Analytics with real time? I don't. Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I guess the trick of that would be to do it in real time. Would Google Analytics be? It's really spidering is the issue. Google Analytics would just show what pages people are on. A video on how not to make videos. Yep, I could do that. In fact, I probably could. There's later on this month, I'm not going to be making videos. I'll tell you more about that. 302 is a little vague. 307 states precisely that the requested URL is being moved to a temporary location and be back in a while. Since this request can change in the future, the request should continue to be made using the original URL. Hello, Imran. That's a good point, Bjorn. And especially since, let's say Googlebot is spidering from California or uses a URL from somewhere else. I don't even know what Googlebot URLs belong to for region or where they would be in that database. Maybe they're just excluded. That would be cool. Let's ask that. Does MaxMind database have Googlebot IPs? Let's see. Locate my IPs. Let's see. It says Googlebot on here. This page contains a subset of data for your IP address. Okay. Didn't have Googlebot on here, right? Let's see. F3BOT. Now this is definitely showing that I'm in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, North America from my IP. That's cool. TELUS, that's my company. Hey, Chuck. Yeah, I like what you're saying, Bjorn, about the 307 saying it may change. I'd be interested to know, they got a sidebar here. Let's see. Show sidebar. No, okay. So, what else we got here? Can you put the IP in here to get checked? Okay. Okay, so we don't even know if Googlebot would if Googlebot or Bingbot would even trigger a redirect to the other pages. That's another interesting thing too. Now, but maybe, so what if there's a French Googlebot or a Norwegian Googlebot? I wonder if it would be. This is a big, a lot of questions here. So I think from the perspective, from looking at this and thinking about it, and I like Bjorn's comment there about 302 and 307, I think I'll go with the 307. And with respect to this, for SEO, I've got the Smart Drive test site. When someone comes to the site, they say, yeah, I'd like to take a quiz. And then they click the generic page. They click the link, and that link looks to see where they're from, and if not, they just end up at the generic page. And if a spider comes to the site, if it doesn't trigger the IP filtering or redirects, it's going to see the generic page. If it does trigger it, it's probably going to just get redirected to one of these. And if it does trigger it, just for safety's sake, I should put a page on the site that is a separate document with a generic course, just so that can be Googled as well. In the meantime, I make all these redirects 307. It may very well be that that Google will just keep seeing this generic page. There is also Wadja Small. Hello to you. Thanks for tuning in. There's also the Bjorn's suggestion as well to have I could do these in categories, but there still is that redirect thing. But if I had a category and the test on that main page for that one category for the generic test, and that was the only one being listed, then you could do SEO for that too. That's a good suggestion as well. All right, so anyways, very cool. Let's just take a look at the update here. So let's see countries to redirect. I'm going to take out the US, and I'm going to put in here, look, we've got California in the US right there. And then what I would select is 307, temporary redirect. And that is pretty cool. They also have, this database also has cities, but one of the things that Roland told me is that the database with provinces included is pretty big. And so I noticed when I updated the install, it took a little while to install, but there you go. Can I do a redirect for Poland? I sure can. So we'll just review this here. Let's go here. First of all, we'll do a new article, and we will call it Poland. A new menu item. Cancel. Content, articles, add new article. Vinny says, if it's just a link that's going to the test, you could use Regular Labs Conditional Content Pro. It has geolocating. Yeah, that's another good suggestion too. Let me just make this Poland link here. Poland. Hello, Hobby Turista. I gotta spell it right. YSTA. All right, Hobby Turista. And we're going to, I'm just going to make that heading 1. All right. So, yes, Imran, that's right. So, okay, so let me just save this here. And we're going to, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to save and close. We're going to do a menu. We're going to go main menu. We're going to make a new one to a single article. Poland landing. There we go. Oh, actually, I don't need to create a link for that. Never mind. I just need to go into the starting point, and we will add a link at the bottom, which is Poland. All right, Poland. We're going to redirect to, oh yeah, we do need a menu item. I was wrong. No, I was right. Okay, all right. We're going to save that. Hold on for a sec. You have to have a menu item to it because it redirects to a menu item. So, new. And we'll go Poland. Select. Articles. Single article is where we want. Select the article. Poland. I deleted the other ones, by the way, last week before the live stream, just to keep things tidy. Save and close. All right, now we go to the starting point. Now we go to the link, which is Poland. We tell it to redirect to Poland. We're going to do 307. Save and close. All right, so then Hobby Turista, what you want to do is go to this page here, click on the starting point link, and that should redirect you to the Poland page. In fact, well, I could connect through Poland and see if it works, but I don't have a browser open right now. I don't want to mess up the streaming. So it's just a link that going to if it's just a link that's going to the test, you could use Regular Labs Conditional Content. Yes. So for instance, GeoIP, but it works with Advanced Module Manager, Advanced Template Manager, Content Template, replacing conditional content. Yeah, so for an example of that, let's just see. If we go here, components, regular labs extension manager. Let's go down to GeoIP. Geo. I don't know. We'll see if we get hung up. I don't have my key in here. Yeah, Norway won't be found, Bjorn, because I deleted the article. I deleted the articles last week just to tidy up a screen during the live stream. And I think search status trashed. Oh, there they are. There they are. Here, I'll reload it. I'll publish those. Publish them. Okay, but it redirected. Yeah, and Poland worked. Okay, so great. Hobby Teresta, which, let's try this. Menus, main menu, open. What is the name of the province or state or what it is that you have in Poland? Hello, Johan. You don't know if it's allowed for regular websites inside or outside Europe. Yes, those of you who have GDPR concerns, this is not. This is just tagging the location, though. There's nothing to do with really who you are. It's not. I guess. Although I'm no legal expert on the used GDPR. So Podlasie state. Okay, so let's do this. You might have to try this in a different browser. Or make sure it's not being cached, but let's do this. Let's go starting point. Let's go to local IP menu. Let's delete this, and then let's go to PODL. There's the state there. So we could do it based on state as well, and that should work for you. Bjorn and Ivor is also Vestland. All right, so let's try that. Oh, look at what I did. Wrong one. Hold on for a sec. V-E-S-T. Vestland. Vestland. Okay, and then down here in Poland was Pol. P-O-L. P-O-D-L. P-O-D-L. All right, so that's that. All right, so now also conditional. So let's take a look at regular labs, and let's go to menu. Let's see their GeoIP. All right, so the regular labs GeoIP library is required if you want to utilize the geolocation assignment options in several regular labs extensions. So you have to install that, and then you have these other things. These Joomla locations extensions include assignments by the following geographical locations: continents, countries, regions, postal codes, and ranges. All right. So we've installed that. So now let's go conditional content. Let me install that as well. Okay. Oh, Ivor's not. Okay, Ivor's not. Oh, you're in Vestland. Oh, Ivor's in Oslo. Okay. Oslo province. So basically, what that would do is this. I would want to. So you would have to create. And of course, this is still redirecting only to Poland. So you'd have to create a page for that state. Yeah. Okay, so regular labs. Okay, let me just update this over here. Hey everybody, less than a week till Joomla 1 till Joomla 4 is out, and that is very exciting. All right, let's go content, articles, add a new article. Ivor's in Vestfold. Oh, Vestfold. OG Telemark. Well, that's just for fun. See if this is here. Do we have Vest? V-E-S-T. Oh, yeah, there you go. Vestfold, OG Telemark. So we could create one for your state. So conditional content. Here we have it down here. And here's what we would say. Here's the content. Show the content. Hello, you are in California, okay? You are in California. Show this content, or this alternative content would be, you are in, we don't know where you are. We don't know where you are. All right, and here's the conditions. So going down to GeoIP, it looks like, okay, I didn't activate the GeoIP plugin. Oh, I have to sync the database here. Okay. Sync the database. Oh, and you need a license key for MaxMind. Okay, which I have. Okay. Okay. So you get the MaxMind license key, which I have. You sign up for it. Here you got create a license key, so that's pretty handy. You can go and create it somehow on the site here. Current, that's your license key. You would log in, you create an account, do all that. Basically, what Vinny is suggesting, what conditional content would show is this. And I'm just gonna, let me just put the logic up here. So you would have in an article, if the visitor is in California, all right, you would show this text. Hi, you are in California. All right, and then you would do this California link. And then what the conditional content would do is else you would say, we don't know where you are from. We don't know where you are. And then what you can do with more, and then this would be generic link. All right. Now what you, and that would be, there'd be a closing tag, right? Basically end. This is the logic of it. So if the visitor's in California, show this and this link. If otherwise, else show this to everyone. And what you can do is you can start adding more ifs. This is just the logic, not how to code it, of course. So we could go like this, Control V if is in Florida. Hi, you're in Florida. And the California link would be, hi, you are in Florida. And this would be Florida. So instead of using redirects based on the menu that the person clicks on, as in this this example up here, you would have this text on the quiz page, and it would say, hey, we think you're in California. Here's the link. Or, hey, we think you're in Florida. Here's the link to the Florida course. And you could keep doing that. Now, the reason that I like the IP redirect in the menu is it's a lot easier to set up the multiple places. That suppose you end up with a test for every state. That's 52. I mean, you would know how to program this. And you would just have those lines, but you definitely could do it that way. Uh, yeah, Imran says put the else for the logic. Um, that I think it's this like if or else. Else would be the default. However Peter words it. So this would be something. If is not true. If is not true. Else, because you could end up having, you could end up having control copy the end. And of course, this is not a lesson in programming. This is just a lesson in project in logic. So basically, you've got if this is true, do this. If this is true, if this is true, if this is true, else do this. So yeah, there's something in programming where you can have lots of options, and then there's a default one at the end. No worries. Or you could actually do this. Yeah, the way conditional content works, you can do it without. For instance, look at here. Here's the content. Hello, you are from California. There is no alternative content. So in that case, the logic would be this. You would say, if the visitor's in California, show this. If the visitor in Florida, show this. If the visitor's in, and there is no else, right? If, and then down here, forget about, you would just have the end of the process or whatever code Peter uses. And then down here, you would just have, if the above, if we haven't guessed your location properly, here's the generic test. Vinny says, I wish there was an else if in conditional content. I will take your word for it. Anyways, it's just the logic of setting it up there, and it's just manhandling around this process. Like I said, I do like the redirect thing, because here's what I can do. Let's say the person goes here and they click to take the generic page test. The database thinks they're in California. It takes them to the California page. Then we could say, oh, see, that would be a problem. You say, oh, are you not in California? You can take the generic test here. But it's just going to redirect them in an endless loop. So that's something I'll have to figure out. Hobby says, what about the relation canonical in the redirect article? I think okay, let's see. The generic page is going to have its own canonical link. The California page, which is its own other thing, it's going to have its own canonical link. So their canonical links are all going to be honored, and Google's not going to say, Google's always going to do it for the page it ends up on, I think. It's a good question, but I think for the page that it's going to end up on, how would that work? Google goes, it gets redirected, it sees a page, and that it's going to do the canonical link for the page it's on. I don't think Google will remember where it was and do that as a canonical link, because it's just going to read the code where it ends up. Okay. Bjorn says maybe you can use Sorcerer to redirect them inside conditional. Maybe you can use Sorcerer to redirect them inside conditional content. Sorcerer. Yeah. So Sorcerer, you would use some kind of programming to redirect them. I suppose you could have Sorcerer running a code that does a redirect. in the header based on the location. Probably. Yeah, PHP redirect. Yep. Yeah. In fact, I don't know how this one does it. Now, that would be a complex. I guess that programming would be. I guess it wouldn't be complex for someone to know how to code it. So maybe Altidigi could do that solution. I'm sure that Alexandra could figure that out. A PHP code that did that, but it's already been done here on the menu system, and you would still have that same. It doesn't change the redirect problem. It just changes the mechanism that's doing the redirect. Where the spidering. Yeah, I'll get this working. And then we'll see how the solution works. But kudos to Roland for hopping on changing the so that I could do provinces and states. That is really great. All right, so let's close that. Let's cancel that. All right, Bjorn has. Oh, sorry. Now let's go up. Just check Bjorn's. Let's check this out. Yeah, AD redirect. It would have to be, yeah, I mean, we've got the, one of the things whenever I give Alexander an idea for an extension that we could do, he says, oh, let's see if it already exists. So this menu system already exists and works fine. So that already exists and it works the way that we want. But unless there was some other way to some other way to do it. But anyways, we have other ideas for things that don't exist yet. Okay, and there's okay, how to redirect in PHP. All right, so there's that link if you want to do PHP redirects. Bjorn share that. Now Bjorn shared a link further up to his latest article. Let's check that out. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Hobby, you got your login problem solved in Administrator, correct? Yes. Even that me asking reminds me that I did. You remember how I've been keeping up with my... I started the year with a 0 inbox. Well, I fell way behind, but I've actually made great progress in the last 3 or 4 days. And I'm hoping by the end of the month to be back to 0 inbox. Let's go up. No. Oh, there we go. There's Bjorn's latest article. Which you guys saw it to click. An easy recipe override. Oh, look at that steak. Oh, boy. And fries. I'm doing fairly well on my low-fat diet. I'm doing very well on my low-fat diet, but I sure like seeing that steak. Oh my goodness. That is very good. I've actually had because of the pandemic, there's lots of people I haven't seen for a while. So a couple of people I've met have actually asked me if I've lost weight. So this is something that is gathered override for your Joomla site that uses custom fields to generate an easy recipe that displays food recipes. There you go. Cool. Look at that. There's the code. I like how good job laying that out. That is good. All right. So good. All right. So let's talk about my plans for. Let's bring up a calendar here. Calendar. Let's just bring this up here. I just want to see the 20. Let's see, June, August. Yeah, August 2021. There's the goal. Let's just bring this up here. Come on. Okay, so here we are. Today is August the 11th. All right. So here's my plans for the rest of the month. Okay. I have family that are my daughter's here visiting from back east. Her son is here with her. My son-in-law is coming on the I think like the 19th. So here's my plans for the channel for the rest of this month, just so that you guys know, and I'll put something out about this as well. So Monday, August the 16th. This is going to be Maintenance Monday number 199. All right. So I'm going to do Maintenance Monday next week. And then I'm also going to do Watch Me Work live stream on the 18th. All right. Now remember, 17th is when Joomla 4 comes out. But I've got so much, I've got holidays planned in here. I got a couple other things going on in my life right now. So I need to take a couple of weeks off just to recharge and regenerate. So what I'm going to do is after the Watch Me Work live stream next week, so there'll be Maintenance Monday 199, and then 100 Watch Me Work live stream 130 on the 18th. I will not be putting out videos on the next 2 Mondays and the next 2 Wednesdays. I'm going to take a holiday. Even though Joomla 4 is out, I just want to take advantage of when family's all together. And that means when we get to, let's see, calendar September 2021. Let's find a calendar there. We'll use this one here. That means I'm going to, on Monday the 6th, which is actually a holiday, but that's fine because everything done. This will be Maintenance Monday number 200. And that is going to be my first Joomla 4 video, unless I get out a couple of in between before. But my next regular scheduled video will be Maintenance Monday 200 on September the 6th. I'm going to do a giveaway on that day as well. And then maintenance Watch Me Work live stream will resume on the 8th as well. And so I'll have a couple of weeks off where, it's, some of the people have been commenting, we'll put it kindly, about how it doesn't, the middle of August is not a great time for developers for Joomla 4 to come out. It's not a great time for me either for making videos and stuff like that, but it is what it is, and I'm just going to take a couple weeks off. So see you later, Imran. So anyways, Maintenance Monday will be on Monday, this coming Monday. There will be a Watch Me Work live stream next week, and then I'm going to take a 2-week pause, and I might have some surprises for you as well that I'm hoping to do here in the studio. Just some little things that I'm going to change in that, but we will see. Anyway, so just to let you all know that. Imran says, if the extension plugin user Joomla is set to disable, you can't log in from the back end of the administrator page. Probably. See you later, Imran. Let's see. Hobby says, what's the best Joomla website for mobile? The best Joomla website for mobile is the website that you have the absolute least on. If you search for fastest Joomla templates, you will find people that are super boasting about how fast their templates are. One of the reasons that I will probably never put any web page I've ever done on the Joomla. There's a site where you can put examples of Joomla sites that you've done. Let me just fix this camera here. Is because there's people that jump on there right away and do speed tests, and they're all complaining and critical and stuff like that. So the fastest web page is the web page that says hello on it and has no template. So for Joomla page, I guess Cassiopeia is probably pretty fast, but everybody has to sacrifice has to compromise with what they're going to do with speed. Look versus speed. If I can use another example of maybe relates. So you hear a lot of people that complain about the Bible. There's so many different versions of the Bible. They've made all different copies and versions. Actually, what they've done is they've translated them. So the Bible's originally in Hebrew, Greek, and some Aramaic. The New Testament is in Greek and Aramaic. So as language changes, you translate it so that the original meaning can be conveyed in the changed language, so people hear the truth in their own hearing, in their current language, right? So like we know, like dope. A dope used to be someone who's really dumb, and now dope is something that's really great. So if in the original Greek, the word for dope being someone who was dumb, that would be a different word, is used, but later was translated in a version of English that's dope, then a couple of generations later, someone reading that same English would say dope. Oh, that's really good, as opposed to stupid, right? So here's my point. When you translate the Bible from the original language to a current language or a different language like French or Spanish or whatever, because of the languages are different, you have to sacrifice either the literal word-for-word thing or the ease of reading. So for instance, if I say, that car is red, that car is red. Now if you ask me, what color is that car? And I said, that car is red. In Greek, the most important word comes first. So red would be the first word. But we don't say in English, red is that car. Right? We say that car is red. And so what you do is you change the order of the words from the Greek into the English. That car is red, but you kind of lose some of the emphasis about how red is the really significant thing, which you can pick up from context and study and stuff like that. So that's not a problem. So when it comes to web page speed, you've got to ask yourself, what do I want to have on there, but how fast do I want to have it? So for instance, if you don't have any images, if you just want to have like a text that looks like an encyclopedia, then you just have text. It's going to be very fast. But if you're going to have some images on there or embed a video from YouTube and so that people can watch it right in that page, and there's scripts that are called, that's going to slow down your page. So you do want to start out with something that is fast. And I guess you could find what is fastest. But the question is the template, the Joomla template that is the fastest on mobile, is it going to be the easiest for you to use? Is it so? For instance, if you want the absolute fastest loading Joomla page that there is, you want to use pages from Joomla Tools. Mark DeShevre is going to come on in the fall, maybe in September, and do a tutorial on pages from Joomla Tools. It is incredibly, blazingly fast, but nobody it's going to be that system is really only for people that are super dedicated to doing things manually on a site and setting it up. And once you learn how to do it, apparently it's incredible. But this is not, you're not going to say to your friend, oh, well, you go ahead and add that article. You're not going to say to a client, here's how to add an article to the page. It's going to be super complicated, which is the whole reason why CMSs are around. Let's see, I got to bring the text over here. So that's a fast system, but it's not for me, it's not easy. I've seen talks about it, and I'm excited that Mark DeShevre is going to do that. But I don't think that so you can make the fastest page that way. Okay, so Wodge Small, yes, is talking to Hobby Teresa. Wodge Small, are you on the Slack here? Let's see here. I haven't opened up Slack in a few days, if not longer. Okay. bring that here. We got one thing in here. There's some 2 subscribers. I'm just looking over here. Oh, it's interesting. Oh yeah, Watch Small, you're on there. Keep Extract Wizards being discontinued. Oh, interesting. You can still download it. You can still download it from the page. And yes, Kickstart is the better way for opening up a JPA file. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll if you're using this, yeah, okay. So so anyway, Slack. Hobby, are you on the Slack channel? Let me find the link here for Slack here. Something else that I'm not proficient at. Basic Joomla community. Okay, create invite people. There we go. Copy the invite link. There you go, Hobby. There's the link right there. That will get you in there, and anyone else who's not in there. Yes. Okay, that's a good point. About thanks, Water Small. Water Small, what is your name? Do you have the glass factory? Do you do the glass work in Poland? Did we meet at Joomla Day USA and have a very enjoyable chat in a room for a long time during one of the sessions? If so, I do not remember your real life name. All right, so okay, so what else? My car has decided it wants a lot of work all at once. It needs brakes. It needs a new exhaust system. It needs an oil change, and it also, when I switch from air conditioner to off, turn the air conditioner off, there's a flap that bangs around for about, I don't know, 60 seconds inside the car till it actually closes. So today, after the live stream here, I'm going to grab a quick lunch, take my car to the take my car to Midas to get a new muffler and an oil change. Then I'm going, you'll know why I said funeral. Then I'm going to walk to my barber's. Vinny, come get a haircut with me. I'm going to my barber's. I'm getting my hair cut because I've had 2 friends pass away in the last week. One passed away right just shortly after the live stream last week, and I'm doing their funerals on Friday and Tuesdays, so I wanted to just get my hair kind of freshened up, and that'll be nice since we're getting some hot weather in. And so anyways, walking around doing that. That's the errands that I have got on the go. All right, everybody, I think that covers it then. Let's see here. Okay, so we didn't meet yet. All right, because there's a fellow that I met at the Joomla Day USA conference, which was virtual, which was online, but I wondered if you're him. So, and your name is I will try to pronounce Wojciech. That is what your name is. Okay. And I'm probably pronouncing Wojciech small wrong, but I apologize. It's what does it? Yeah, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny and I haven't met either. Wojciech, what does phonetically, what does your name rhyme with? An English word that might sound the same. Wojciech. So obviously not. Who knows? All right, you type it in text. I will leave the chat open to see if you type that in. Anyways, everybody, there we go. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for helping me work my way through what's the best redirect to do for redirecting those pages. And some of your ideas are really great, and we talked through some things, and that is good too. So, yeah. Everyone, I hope wherever you are, be it that you are well, be it morning, afternoon, evening, or tomorrow. And until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.